Hello and welcome to the latest instalment of MFS's Let's Talk Property podcast, where we connect with industry experts to explore an array of topics within the dynamic world of property. But before we dive into today's episode, I just want to take this moment to share a quick disclaimer. MFS are a bridging loan and buy-to-let mortgage provider and are not financial advisors. The opinions and views expressed in this episode are personal to the host and guests and may not reflect the views of MFS. For more information on MFS, you can find us at www.mfsuk.com and be sure to keep up with our podcast updates on Instagram at MFS_LTP and MFS_Let's Talk Property. Now let's get started. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Let's Talk Property with MFS podcast. Today we have Neal from OMS here joining us today to talk all about their amazing business and their fantastic platform. Neal, how are we today, sir? You well?
Very well, thank you. You?
Yeah, we're good. Busy at the minute, I take it?
Yeah. We should always a positive thing.
Yeah.
Rather be there than twiddling your thumbs doing nothing.
Yeah. So, obviously, we're here to talk about OMS and everything that you guys do. So, give us a little rundown on OMS, the platform, and what it does.
Yeah, so OMS created in 2017, really built at that time for what was the family business, should we say, in all types of mortgages or impact as it was. But then realised we could go whole of market with it. We got some interest from other packages, distributors, networks about the system. So I realised actually we could create OMS. So yeah, launched officially in 2017. We pride ourselves on it being built by brokers for brokers. So we want to listen and take in board what people do on a day-to-day basis. Fantastic. And every mortgage broker, every network, every lender is different and works differently. So the system needs to be adaptable for that, and that's what we've tried to build. So
would you say a big part of what you guys do is tailor the stuff to fit specific mortgage brokers and companies' needs?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So it's fully bespoke, fully customisable, but we took on. I mean, I'm CMAP qualified as well, so I've done the role essentially. I understand the process. We're not
and
one
the
of these
hurt points.
Oh, exactly, definitely. And the stumbling blocks and what you want the system to do automatically for you. And we took that all on board and we've listened to other brokers and what they want. We don't want to be a tech company that says you have to work this way, because no one does that. No one works a set way, or everyone works slightly differently.
So would you say, obviously you said there that you had, it's created by mortgage brokers and advice. How important would you say that's been to the success of the business, because you guys are everywhere at the minute now?
Massive. And we value everyone's input into the system. We'll listen to what everyone says. Like I said, everyone works differently, so we'll take that on board. What we can bring in, we'll look to bring in straight away if we can, or we'll develop it and bring it into the system because it adds value to the platform. Yeah. And that's a big thing. Being able to change the way you work today, tomorrow, or the next day very quickly is perfect for brokers, and that's what they need.
Fantastic. So, I mean, obviously, like we're saying, the business has evolved since when you first started it. What's the main things that you've seen initially evolve the most since you've originally created the business?
Automation, APIs, they're the big thing. A lot of third parties now are getting involved in that journey and understanding that actually the process of an application, whether it's on the lender side, on the network side, on the broker side, can be a lot quicker with APIs and third parties working together. Yeah. There's a lot of platforms out there which are great for what they do, and OMS is trying to bring them all together and give everyone a one-stop shop essentially, but be able to integrate with the likes of Experian, with lender APIs, with ID&V, all the things that a broker needs or a lender needs to process that application as quick as possible. With APIs, you can do it so much quicker. And that's definitely developed, definitely the last 2 years, really.
Yeah, and we were having this conversation earlier about, obviously, there's certain things coming into place with national insurance and various other things where more and more people will be looking at technology like this to save themselves time. And also it helps with the client experience, when you can sort of speed up that process, make it a lot easier for them, I guess.
Yeah. Nowadays, it's about getting that application through as quick as possible. Definitely with rates being pulled left, right and centre. We've all experienced. Definitely with changes in taxes coming in and everything the government's going to change, you want to get that application through and secure that product as quick as possible. Yeah. You don't want to be waiting for a passport to be sent in the post. You don't want to be waiting for someone or a client to do their own credit search and email it to you and then having to read through it. Yeah. A system that can automate all that process, put it all in the screen for you, so brokers can pick up a case and think, we've got everything we need. I just need to check X, Y, and Z, make sure it all fits, and then we'll go. Speed up that whole process from start to finish. And that's the aim, and we'll continue to do that. And the thing is, we're moving into a fully technological environment, country, where everything's on your phone. You go buy a car today, you can do it in 30 minutes on your phone, you supply the ID, you supply bank statements if they need them, you can actually walk out that forecourt with a brand new car.
Yeah.
We need to get the mortgage market into that process as well. So everything's going to be on phone and mobile and app based.
On to my sort of next question. What characteristics does a client need to have to be a good fit for OMS?
They've got to be willing to change their current processes. Not so much in the
Rip
system.
it up and start again.
Yeah.
But
You don't need to do that. We can build that into OMS, what you do. But a lot of people these days still are using spreadsheets, using Word documents, using notepad and paper at the end of the day. But they need to be willing to change. Once that change has taken place, they'll see the benefits. But they've got to say, I want tech's coming in. And it's been coming in for 4 years now, 5 years since the industry. They need to be willing to change. But they can still, with OMS, have that process they use, but it's just all automated for them.
I mean, it's quite interesting because you see now, especially a lot of the older generation of mortgage brokers are now really into their technology. Yeah. People that you normally wouldn't think would be using certain platforms.
You know my old man, he's 78, bless him, love him to pieces. I've converted him. I can get him to use a phone, I can get him to use the system. He used to carry a box into the office every day. Yeah, so we've got rid of him doing that. He can use the system to do what he needs to do. So if we can convert him, we can convert every generation.
That's a good selling tool. Yeah, converted that.
Exactly. To use the system with it.
So what's your opinion on increasing use of technology in the mortgage industry? Well, everyone's got to adapt to it. Yeah.
The 20-year-olds or 21-year-olds to say 21 to 35, everyone's on their phone. I've just walked down from Victoria Station here. Everyone is walking with their phone in hand, looking at it.
Yeah.
That's going to be the next generation of people buying houses, people remortgaging. They're going to be using their phone for everything. So people have got to adapt that it's all got to be on the phone. You're not going to send stuff out in the post anymore. Even by email is probably getting a bit more redundant. Everything's going to be done by an app on your phone where they can quickly respond and process it through.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, because emails get lost, posts, it's expensive to keep you constantly sending out loads of posts. So I get a lot of people do use stuff in the app. There's a lot of apps that I use pretty much run my life now.
But they're all secure. Face ID to open up anything. So it's got to be you doing it. You can do your signatures on it. You can upload documents from it. Everything's got to be tech-based now moving forward. And everyone has got to adapt to it, including lenders. A lot of lenders still probably use spreadsheets in the back end. They need to adapt to that as well. Or they're going to miss out.
Yeah, because I mean, especially people like myself, BDMs that are constantly on the road, I do so much on my phone. Yeah. Literally, it's like a mini laptop for me, especially when you're sort of picking up emails and, there's just so much stuff you can do without having to get the laptop out now. And you guys certainly at the forefront of this. Like I said, it's been amazing watching you guys grow. I mean, what did you say is going to be one of the biggest challenges for the mortgage industry?
Adaptation to change and partnerships, I think, is a big thing.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, there's a lot of specialist people out there that have got systems that are in solo markets. You've got credit search. They do credit search, they do it well, and it's bringing all of them together into one platform.
Yeah.
And that's about working together. Everyone's got to work together. We're willing to work with anyone. If the system's right, we can API into it, we can pull documents back. It's about creating that whole cloud-based system for a client or a broker where everything can be done in one place.
Yeah, and I love the fact that it's always bespoke with you guys, because a lot of the platforms that you see on the market, it's like, right, tear up everything else you've got, use this or nothing else, or it's not going to work. You guys can plug in, plug out, and do everything else.
But everyone's got relationships with third parties, that they want to keep, but they want it in the CRM system, and that's what we can do. As long as they've got an API, we can plug into it, we can pull data out of it, we'll work that partnership, and it's building those relationships.
Yeah.
Some people I think are scared of building relationships with third parties, but actually it benefits everyone.
I think there's no business can survive without having access to decent third parties because you can't do it all.
And you wouldn't be able to do it all.
No.
I don't want to build in my own credit search engine. There's decent providers out there.
Yeah.
I want to build in my own ID engine. There's decent providers out there. So using the best of their best and bring them into IMS. Perfect for everyone.
Makes sense, really. I mean, how does and obviously there's a lot of regulatory changes happening constantly, yeah. So how does the system work with keeping up to date with that sort of stuff?
So we have a compliance team in-house that monitors everything that the FCA are doing. Obviously from a broker point of view, the biggest thing is FCA.
Yeah.
Our own is obviously all the tech regulations that are coming in. So we've just fully done our ISO 27001. certificate from an OMS point of view, but compliance-wise, we have a team, they tell us all the changes that are coming. What we'll then do is we'll speak to all the principals of our users, and we'll say, what's your understanding of this? Because again, everything's different.
Yeah.
Everyone understands it differently. And then we'll build bespoke areas for that. So consumer duty, for example, it's
going to be a big thing.
Yeah, and it was launched 2 years ago. But what we did was we built a complete bespoke area where everyone can have their own questions and their own understanding. So again, we're not telling them this is how it's done, because no one's going to be right in that sense. In that instance, the FCA say one thing and compliance understand it.
Yeah.
So they all want different things. We built in consumer duty, we built in client surveys, but allow them to bespoke that journey on that side. So anything FCA or regulation, we've got a compliance team. They'll look at it, and then we'll go from there.
So you're on the pulse with it all.
Definitely, yeah.
And I don't envy that job, to be honest with you.
Neither do I. That's what we've got.
That's why you're sitting here with me.
Yeah, exactly. They're all back there doing it.
MFS, we're big on education. How big is education for you guys as well around the technology in the mortgage industry? Yeah,
massive, because you could give someone a system and say, off you go, it's all yours, it's all set up. Not everyone will know how to use it from day one. It's not, they're bespoke systems that we've built for every user. So we do regular webinars, so training webinars, and we'll go through certain aspects of the system, and then we'll listen to what our clients want. So, they might say, actually, can you take us through submitting the full application? And what we'll do is a webinar on that, where we'll invite everyone, they can join in. With our third parties, we've just done quite a few third party webinars where us and that third party are on, and we demo that part of the system to everyone as well.
Fantastic.
The other night we had 116 odd people on one webinar, for half an hour, which is great. That's what you want, but it's that constant training, constant learning.
So obviously you showcase your work by holding the webinars and seminars. So then is it sort of, do you offer them as soon as you get updates to your product itself? Do you contact people, say, right, we've made these changes, we'll be holding a webinar for this day?
Anything new that we do, we'll put out what we call release notes. So the day it launches, or the day before it launches out onto the main platform, we'll say this is what's coming. These are the dates for the webinar to see it. If you want it turned on, let us know, and we'll turn it on permission-wise for you. And then we'll offer the webinar from there. So we update our clients all the time on everything. We try and do 2-week sprints now. Personally, I like 1 week sprints, but the devs will see this and then they'll start having a go at me in the office. But 2 weeks is fine for everything, but obviously,
you lost that battle then.
Yeah. Apparently, it's all about testing now. 2 weeks work well as well, so we can update everyone, and then we can do the webinars from that point as well.
Amazing. So, industry, we're going to be. How do you see it faring over the next 12 to 18 months? I know it's a bit of a difficult crystal ball question, and we ain't going to hold you to it.
Yeah. I think it should be steadier than it has been over the last 18 months, 24 months. I think, personally, if rates can be held at where they are or drop slightly now, then we'll see an increase. I think the industry's going to be fine. It's just, some of it is actually chatting with clients and explaining what's going on, because some people just won't know.
Yeah.
They just see rates going up and panic and think,
or they're reading the newspapers.
Exactly.
And that's for me. So the people that don't actually do the full research, they just read the headline stories and think everything's horrendous.
I think clients need to talk to brokers, because brokers will be able to explain what's going on, what's happening, why lenders are putting rates up or not. They could be dropping, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, but clients need to speak to brokers. You still need a mortgage broker.
Yeah, client education, I think, is a really key thing. And to be honest with you, it makes your life easier if you've set your client up to know what the landscape's going to be like. It's less of a shock. But I always generally tend to find the UK property market is very resilient. All you'll find is people just change the strategy of what they're doing. We see a lot of more people doing sort of HMO stuff and change what they're doing. But I think it's something that will always. It's always going to go the right direction, I'd say. I
think, unfortunately, the papers or the news don't explain it properly. Yeah. So
good news doesn't sell, though, does it?
No. But clients who aren't in the industry, have only a newspaper or an app to go on and think, oh, well, we're all doomed.
Yeah.
The world's coming to an end. Whereas if they actually picked up the phone and spoke to a financial advisor, spoke to a mortgage broker, they'll understand it better, and I don't think the concern would be there then.
Yeah, I think we had a lot of that in the run-up to the budget, didn't we, where a lot of people we saw a lot of stalling. You had people either trying to sell stuff really quick, just in case they got hit with massive capital gains bills, or people that are just sitting on their hands now, but then obviously they hit us with stamp duty and various other things that nobody had a clue about.
Yeah, exactly that, and I think clients just need to pick up the phone now. I think they need to speak to a broker. and understand what's going on.
Yeah, that's what I always recommend to people. Keep in touch with your broker. Yeah. They've got their finger on the pulse. They're speaking to a wide range of lenders, so they know intimately what's going on within the market. And unless you're speaking to your bank manager at NatWest or whoever it may be, you're not going to get that information, are you?
But the same falls on brokers to actually pick up the phone and speak to their clients as well. Not, it doesn't always have to be the client.
Yeah.
You've got full retention processes in place now. Brokers can see when rates are coming to an end, terms are coming to an end. They can pick up the phone or they can contact the client as well. I think that's the way forward.
Yeah, because for me, it's the relationship is everything, because deals will come and go with that particular client, but then the relationship, they know that you're the guy that updates them, you're the one that's got their best interests at heart, saying, right, we've got some rate reductions here or something. I think now's a good time for you to start looking, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, definitely.
And then that's obviously my job. That's what I do. That's relationship. And, it's still one of the biggest things in our industry is having a relationship with your clients. For me, it's with the brokers as well, but it's something that we're very strong on.
But that's where it comes down to customer service, which is, I think, key to everything.
Yeah.
Anywhere you go, whether it's mortgage broker, mortgage lender, Tesco's, anywhere like that, customer service is the biggest thing. Yeah. Because if it's bad, you're not going back.
No, me and my wife have a big list of places, so we won't go now because of customer service.
Yeah, and that's a big thing.
Do you have any hopes, though, for the industry over the next sort of 12 to 18 months?
Yeah, I think we said it. I think partnerships. I think the adoption of technology throughout the whole industry and build partnerships, because it'll make everyone... You can be the best of the best over here, and if you integrate with everyone else, it's going to work. And you're going to make it a much better industry. But everyone's got to adapt to technology. It's coming. I mean, it's been coming for ages. It's there. But everyone still needs to make that change. And some people are still scared of it.
You've got to get on with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, finally, before we wrap up, we'd like to do a quick fire round.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone who's heavily involved in the mortgage and lenders industry, what three key pieces of advice would you give brokers looking to leverage software and technology to succeed in today's current market?
First thing I'd say is don't settle for what you think is the best out there. Have a look around. See what those systems or partnerships have done for others, because everything will be bespoke to how you want it to be. You don't have to change the way as a broker that you work or a lender as you work. You can still adapt that process in, but there'll be systems out there for adaptation. Yeah. All right, that you can take on board as well. And the second thing is don't just settle for what you think seems the best. You build relationships. I mean, Market Financial are using us. That relationship's been 2 years in the making, from probably before we even started putting the system in place. You build relationships with people, you understand them, you understand what they do. So you got to build relationships with them as well. And the third thing I'd say is embrace technology. It is coming. It's here, but it's going to get bigger. There's more coming on. It's going to be more automated. That's where we want to get to. Yeah. Everyone's got to embrace it. You can't be left behind now.
No, I think so. And I think, like you're saying, now more than ever, we've got a younger generation which has been brought up with mobile phones and technology. We've got an older generation that are sort of seeing, they actually know how to work phones. Yeah. For years, my mum didn't know how to work a phone. Yeah. And now she's an expert.
Exactly. and that's it. Everyone's changing. And I think as an industry, we're probably 24 months behind everyone else, every other industry out there, tech-wise. And I think that's where we need to up it and change it very quickly.
So lots of work to do then.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. So now's the end where we give you the opportunity for you to tell people how they can find you, how they can get in contact with you if they're interested in learning more about the platform and things like that.
Yeah, so we're obviously online, onemortgage.co.uk. Drop us there's an inquiry form on there, my email's on there, by all means get in contact. I'm happy to set up demos and webinars to speak to people. Happy to be out and about. It's not an issue at all.
Happy days. There we go. Right. So thank you very much for coming today. Lovely hearing about you guys at OMS and all the amazing things you've been doing. And looking forward to working with you guys again next year.
Thank you for having me.
If you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe, like and share the episode. You can access our previous episodes in all the usual places, as well as on our website at www.mfsuk.com/podcast. You can also stay connected with us on Instagram at MFS_LTP and MFS_Let's Talk Property. See you next time.